of you as well.
What I
Let
do?
me let me say I'm super proud of you because I see where all of this is going, and I'm seeing your reposition. I really do. I'm really admiring the way that you're stepping into what you were already given from the very beginning. Right? I see this leadership shift in you. I really do see that, and we can
Thank
talk about that later.
Yeah, we definitely should. Thank you, Willie. I
But
appreciate it.
and based off of you all, if you haven't heard Wednesday's call, let me tell you, get on. I call it the Kai and the Kathy, the K and K. You can flip it however you want, but it was an amazing call with some great nuggets, especially speaking to those who are leaders and those who are aspired to be, right? And some of you all, most of us are leaders of something or somebody or some family or whatever the case may be. So definitely tune in to Wednesday's call. Um, I'm not going to do a recap of yesterday's call, but I will compel you to get with your upline, to get with your leader, and really as a team, try your best to dive into, especially the last week's call on Thursday, no, Friday, as well as this week's Thursday call. Those are two calls that are combined together and speaks about the funnel. Amazing. I'm not just saying amazing because it's something that God gave me. Message starts with me, but especially because of that, it's a process that God gave me that I've been challenged, and it's not easy to work myself, and it is working. Let me tell you, it's working. And with that being said, and it's just another again, message starts with me. Huh, y'all, it never stops. There's something my bishop used to say: when God puts you in the whip shed in the wood shed. These little small whippings that I get, message starts with me. I've been really compared to share with you. So who I'm talking about today really is actually me and how I've had to shift my mindset. So I want to give it to you because I think it falls perfect after conveying and sharing the system, the funnel system, um, that I was given. And I think this is just life, you all. So my opening thought is, and I'm gonna put it in a form of a question. I felt that this I was actually in a conversation with my coach. Yes, I do have a coach. So I'm gonna give you the question that he gave me, and I know it came from God. You know, him asking me that question. And the question is, what game am I really playing? Let me say that one more time. Minister Mooney or Willie, what game am I playing? What game are you playing? So the thing is even as a leader, we hit moments where we feel stuck. This week, y'all, in certain aspects of my life, parts of my life, I was really feeling stuck, right? And I just so happen to, when I get stuck, I got to call somebody. So I had a conversation with my coach. Yes, like I said, I have a coach too. And he asked me that particular question, and it shook me. You know, what game am I really playing? And the question forced me to look beyond my day to day struggles. And it put me right back at the bigger vision, the bigger harvest, and the bigger purpose. It really, when he hit me with that, it caused me to think about where am I headed, or what do I want, or what's the purpose, what's the desire, the bigger harvest. And I want to bring that same reset to you this morning because I'm telling you, I was not feeling good. I'm looking at certain situations like the building is not finished, finances isn't coming in the way that I wanted to. And it really had me to dive into this monster that I had to face. And I'm not going to jump in that right now. But let me say this, and I hope you had a pen and paper because I'm going to go through 5 particular bullet points that will have you evaluating, are you really playing this big game? The game that the outcome that you really desire. And I mean long term. right? And some immediate goals. So here we go. I realized, and it was shared with me, that stuck is just a symptom. Stuck is just a symptom, is not a state. So we sometimes feel stuck, but that doesn't mean we are stuck. Stuckness is just a signal that growth is demanding a new level from us. So I'm like, what, God? Another level? Wow. So as a leader, I had to change my mindset about the whole word, right? And that was addressed, right? You got to watch my stinking language. So sometimes as a leader, I have to stop labeling myself with these things as stuck and instead ask myself, what's the new move? What's the new mindset? Or the new action is being required of me right now? What is it that I need to do right now? And I started a little going into that space, but God gave me the scripture like, you know what? There was something that I had dealt with in my past that without it, I felt stuck. So I had to say, well, that's the past. The past is the past. What's required of me right now? So forgetting Philippians 3rd chapter 13 through 14 verse says, forgetting what is behind and straining toward what is ahead, I press toward the goal of the high calling. So I had to really put myself in the action to stop calling what now I feel as being stuck and call myself to a space where I'm being stretched. I'm being stretched. So everybody out there, just say to yourself that you are being stretched. You're not stuck. So what I did, and you heard me kind of address my thinking, and this is just, I had some conversations this week, and we sometimes don't be aware of our inputs, even the words coming from ourselves, right? So these voices that I was hearing, these conversations that I have been in, just these things that are my inputs is something that I have to be cautious about. The voices or the content, the energy that I allow, right, in my life will start to shape whether I fight, right, and what battles I decide. Like, am I fighting the right battles? Am I fighting the right battles, or am I just like stuck in my stinking thinking, fighting the battle within my brain by even the words? Am I just so often it's not, what I realize is often it's not the external monster that blocks us from the internal one. Let me say that one more time. It's not the external monster that blocks us from the internal monster. See, sometimes we're rooted in old inputs and old beliefs and old narratives. And honestly, message started with me. That's where I was. When I look at, and I'm going to share some transparency, when I look at where I am with this building, there was a narrative that I was not really conscious that I was playing to myself about what had happened with my old pieces of property. And it was great. And because I didn't have those inputs in the past, or that surrounding in the past, that was always around me to take care of things, meaning my father and some people that I could count on, since I didn't have that present with me now, it ended up being a monster hindering me in progress. So I had to do a self-audit of my inputs right then and there, right, at this particular time this week. So I'm challenging you, what is it that is constantly an input in your thought that's hindering you? And what is the narrative that you're telling yourself? What is it, the people that you're around that's saying, that's stopping you from moving to the next level? What's feeding your faith versus what's feeding your fear? Fear was one of my biggest inputs. as of, and you heard me say was, as of a couple of days ago. Message starts with me. Now, this is the middle is always that space that, man, it's always the one in the middle. So you just heard me say what I said. I have a coach. I have my wife. I have, I have our amazing CEO to help me get through certain turbulence that's dealing at the time, right? And I have that input of the woman in the ring that's announcing me when I'm coming up the aisle, sometimes named Kathy Weathersby, when it's time to deliver a message. But it's this middle part that I'm highlighting that highlights all those things that I just named, and it's accountability and the commitment to the vision. See, one thing, message starts with me, that I'm really starting to really understand is that growth is not a solo game. Let me say that one more time. Growth is not a solo game. See, left to ourselves, convenience easily wins. Remember, I talked about convenience a week ago. If it's left, let me say that one more time. If it's left to us alone, convenience will always win. We will always do what's convenient. You will always make, if it's just you, make a decision based off convenience. With accountability, commitment depends on it. See, with accountability, that commitment, it depends. You got to depend, and you're not weak because I decide to pour myself out of what I'm going through to another man. I'm not weak, right? See, these are some of the narratives that we say to ourselves in accountability. I'm not weak let me say, what's the movie that says, you weep for Santiago. You can't handle the truth. No, sometimes we need to hear the truth. See, and this is the thing why systems really matter, right? And I'm gonna dive into that space of systems for a second. They protect us from our personal preference and anchor us quickly to purpose when we have systems. So Proverbs 27 chapter 17 verse says, as iron, right, sharpens iron, so will one person sharpen another. So as leaders, and message starts with me, I had to start identifying and getting back, right, constantly staying plugged in to someone who will hold me accountable, an accountability partner, who will call me to a higher level, that day and this week and to move forward in the future. Who is your accountability? Number 4, the equation of progress. See, this is one of my quotes. I'm a nerd. I'm a math person. Y'all know I'm all about the numbers. But this is one thing that I learned in math. And I quoted this to myself. Let's start with me. Is there's something that's called a variable. You have constants. You have equations. You have formulas. Let me mention that again so you can write it down and do your own research. Variables, equations, formulas, and constants. And this is how it goes. Variables have nowhere to go if there's no equation or formula to plug them into. Let me say that one more time. Variables and ideas, I'm not going to break it down yet, but variables have nowhere to go if there's no equation or formula to plug them into. And it's the constant, right, that give you a clue of the outcome of that formula. So let me break it down like this so you can apply it to business. Variables equal daily actions, exposures, and conversations. See, but the equation equals our system, the funnel, duplication, leadership development. And see, this is what should stay constant. The vision, the mission, and the purpose that don't change. So we can waste our time with variables, right? And what is it that you're going to do? What is the how? We can waste our time with that. Or we can plug them into systems and equations so the outcome is predictable. Now, I hope y'all go back and listen to the recording because that message start was with me, and I just got a new revelation of that. Now, here's the final. I'm going to close on this. Well, y'all know I'm going to have a second close and a third close, but let me just give it to you. I started out by saying, what game are you playing? The bigger game. So let's reframe. I want to ask you, what game are you really playing? Right? Is it just making a quick check, or is it building a legacy? Let me say that one more time. Mooney, what game are you really playing? Are you just trying to make a quick check, or are you building a bigger legacy? And you all can input your name and say it to yourself, right? See, leaders who play the short game focus on convenience. Leaders who play the long game commit to systems and vision. Let me say that one more time. Leaders who play the short game, if you consider yourself a leader, you focus on convenience. Just, sometimes it's convenient. All right, quick check is convenient. Leaders who play a long game commit to systems and vision. So this is an action step. It's a challenge, right? I was hit with this. Message starts with me, right? I'm talking about me, right? Every time I open my mouth, is God talking to me. Write down your bigger game plan today. What is the big picture? What is the end result? If you say you're out there and there's diamonds, that's the bigger game. And then break that down. Why do you want to be a diamond? What comes with being diamond? What check comes with diamond? If you're saying diamond, right, what leadership comes with diamond? I don't know what it is. If it's patriarch in the family, I don't know what it is. If it's a position of authority, dominion pound authority in the community, I don't know what it is. If it's battling a cancer or a disease out there, that's the bigger game. What game are you playing? See, the outcome of this game is what you're really after. The outcome, that's the bigger game. Not the check, not the bonus, it's the legacy. That's the bigger game. So this is I'm stepping off my own soapbox. Well, I'm the audience, right? And this is what I want my team, the leaders. Y'all, it's bigger than feeling stuck. It's bigger than convenience, and it's bigger than your comfort zone. We are playing the game of legacy, impact, and multiplication. So this week, I charge you to refrain. Don't call it stuck. Call it stretching. Filter all your inputs. Go through everything that you're thinking. Filter them all. Who talking to you, you talking to yourself. Write down what are you saying and what people saying to you. And then stay accountable to the vision. Stay accountable to the vision. Plug your variables into the system. If the variables don't fit, if the variables will fit the equation, because the equation is laid out in the vision. Come on. If it don't fit, you must quit. And play the bigger game, the one God called you to. Let me say that again. Play the bigger game, the one that God called you to. Not Minister Mooney, not Melissa Boston, not Therese Eppinger, not right. Some of the lead. Not what did God tell you to do? Because the harvest is waiting, but only for those who refuse to play small. Let me say that one more time. The harvest is waiting, but only for those who refuse to play small. With that being said, I'm going to give it back to you. Rubies and above, I will see you on the next call. I'll give it back to you, Kathy. We will see you at the top, the very top, the tip top, and busting through the top. Back to you, Kathy.
Awesome. Thank you, sir. And today, rebounding is after this call, as well as remembering your opportunities this weekend. So there are 3 huge opportunities. Saturday morning opportunity call, 10 a.m. Central, 11 a.m. Eastern. Sunday, opportunity call, 5 p.m. Central, 6 p.m. Eastern. And then it is certification time again, guys. Certification happens on Sunday, the first Sunday of every month. And yes, we will be having it this Sunday at 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Eastern. Make sure that you get your new people, old people, middle of the way people. Listen, get yourself on certification because we take our time to make sure we are addressing the things that are going to edify you and your business. They're going to empower you to take control of your business so that you can actually move in the ways that Willie is giving you. So you got to know these basics, and then there's going to be some special training on vending again. Guys, I'm telling you, these holidays, there are great vending opportunities, and you want to make sure that you're getting a part of that. So we are going to be featuring that again. So make sure that you act accordingly. You will be getting an email, but listen, don't wait on the email. The link is not any different than it's ever been. IcanaCertification.com is where you want to be. You want to have your new people on, your team on, so that you can get what you need from us. So with that being said, I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend. We'll see you on the calls. Have a great day.